Okay, so today we're going to be multiplying radicals. Now, let me just make something really clear. Oh, I totally misspelled that. Hold on just one second. Let's fix that. Multiply radicals. Okay, so we need to know the product property. Remember, when you multiply something, you're going to get the product. So let's go over that real quick. The radical of A times B can be broke down to the radical of A times the radical of B. Okay, now remember, A has got to be greater than equal to 0, and B has got to be greater than equal to 0. Okay, so in both these cases, A has to be bigger than 0, A and B. Now if you're given this, it can go back to this. So these things go back and forth both ways. Okay, so you can, let's look at the first example. First example I want to do is radical 2 times radical 18. Now this is set up just like this side of your product property, so you can go back and do it. Radical 2 times radical 18 gives us radical 36, and then you simplify and you get 6. Okay? So, now you can also look at problems like, let's see, 5 radical 3 times 4 radical 9. So when we get this, we're going to get 20 on the outside, because 5 times 4 gives me 20. And then when I do my radicals underneath, we're going to get radical 27 underneath. Okay, so you're going to multiply your numbers on the outside of your radical, and then you multiply what's under your radical, and then you simplify. So if you remember correctly, radical 27 simplifies to 3 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So we get 20 here times 3 radical 3. So my answer is going to be 60 radical 3. Okay, so let's just go over some quick steps. So, step 1, multiply numbers under radical. And remember, that's your radicand. And then step 2, multiply numbers outside radical. And then step 3, simplify. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Now, you may see problems that are a little bit more in depth than that. And what I mean is you can have a radical on the outside. So here's some more examples. If you have radical, this is example 3, radical 5 times 8 radical 10 plus 1. Okay, so this looks like something we would have done a long time ago. It looks like a distributive property. So I'm going to take this radical and I'm going to go to this one and to this term right here. Now, I've got to still follow these same steps. So I'm going to assume there's a 1 in front of this. So this is going to now give me 8 radical 10 times radical 5, which gives me an answer of 8 radical 50. And then I'm going to take radical 5 times 1, which gives me radical 5. Now, 50 can be simplified. So radical 50 simplifies to radical 5 times 5 for 25 times 2. Okay, so this is going to give me a pair of 5s, which is going to give me a 5 on the outside. So this is 8 times 5 radical 2 plus, I'm going to bring down the radical 5. So this is now going to give me an answer of 40 radical 2 plus radical 5. Now I can't do anything further because I do not have like radicals, so I cannot add them. Okay? Now you may have one even a little bit more in depth than that. So here's a fourth example. Let's see if I can squeeze this in here. Let's see. What if we have 6 plus radical 3 times 6 minus radical 2. Let's do that one. Okay, so this looks like a binomial times a binomial. And if you guys remember when we did binomials, we can either use box or FOIL. So for this purpose, I'm going to use box. Okay, and I'm going to put 6 plus radical 3, 6 minus radical 2. So 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times radical 3 is positive 6 radical 3. 6 times negative radical 2 is negative 6 radical 2. And then negative radical plus a positive radical is going to make this a negative. But 2 times 3 gives me radical 6. Now, this gives me an answer of 36. These two are not like radicals, so I'm just going to bring them straight out. So this is 6 radical 2 plus 6 radical 3 minus radical 6. So I have done the box method. I'm going to put a star here because I want to look for like terms. In this case, we're going to look for like radicals. And I don't have any, so this is my answer. Okay? So I hope this helps you with multiplying radicals.